Copy.
Welcome, everyone. Here we go.
Great. All right. Welcome back, Twitch fans. It is that time once again. It is time for King of the Sea. My name is Sea Raptor. I'm your host this evening here on Twitch. Joining me, Lord Zath. How is it going, Zath?
Hey, Raptor. Always a pleasure to be working with you, man, and great to be back. And I'm really excited now. We've done this once together, and we get to do it again.
I'm pretty stoked, man. It has been 83 days since we last crowned Devastating Strike as King of the Seas in North America, and they are not going to be able to rest on their laurels. They're going to have to defend their title faster than I think any of the EU clans have ever been asked to. So we will see how that goes. But today, of course, we're just starting with the group stage, and the way the tournament is structured this time around, things are a little different.
Quick question before we get into that, Raptor.
Yeah.
Did you actually count?
I did. Actually, you know what? I cheated. I used a website.
Okay, well then I have a little more respect.
No, the other day I thought, man, it'd be really cool to come up with a brilliant line like that. You know, make me look intelligent. So so I went and I found a website that would let me cheat and do that. So there you go.
Alrighty
But
then.
anyhow, so what we've done this time around for King of the Sea here in North America is, rather than have to slog their way through the group stage, teams that placed well enough in the most recent season of clan battles have been automatically seeded in the round of 16. They basically get a bye all the way to the top 16. So the top 16 bracket, and we'll look at this in just a minute, is already seeded with 8 teams. Everybody else, the remaining 32 teams that joined us for this weekend's start of the tournament, must slog their way through the group stage, which today means everybody is playing a round robin within a 4-team group. You see here the groups right on your screen. We have a variety of clans from all over both Americas. There are at least 3 and I believe 4 South American groups with us. I know that Falco, MGBR, and CVR are all South American clans, and I believe that UAF is as well. I'm not positive.
Yeah, and real quick, getting back into the teams that are seeded, this is based on the Clan Battles, Clan Wars Season 2 standings, correct?
Yes, sir. If you teams that participated in clan battles and decided they wanted to join us for the tournament basically got a free spot higher up the ladder. Teams that participated in clan battles and didn't sign up, that's fine. That slot just got skipped over, and the teams underneath them seeded higher than they otherwise would have.
Roger that. So that's why we've got our list here, our second group for those on the stream. And what we're watching is what's filling in the bracket to the left of this, which is today.
Exactly. We can see here, looking at the brackets, and you can see the dates and times for those games. Of course, won't be until next weekend that we'll see ZR, who was the top seed. They were the North American Season 2 Clan Battles top team. Of course, 07, last tournament's champion down there. I believe they were the 4th seed this time around. And we've got some other folks that were recognizable. Of course, OPG and Cuter, both veterans of the last tournament, as well as PSV. Rush B is a new group. They have changed names. They are formerly known as MIAC, but as I understand it, it is largely the same group of people. They've just had a name change and a logo change. I love their logo, by the way. Have you seen their logo, Zath?
Yeah.
Their logo is awesome.
Yeah.
I'll at some point, guys, go over to the tournament page and find it. If not, you'll see it over here on the stream eventually. But the Rush B, of course, is short for Russian Bias, and their logo is like Stalin with a pair of sunglasses and big hammers and sickles on them. It's awesome. It's priceless. So, big fan of their logo. Anyway, lots of teams here that we recognize. But today, of course, it's all about who's going to go up there and earn their way to facing them in the top 16.
That's right.
So what we have today is every group has 4 teams in it. Every team will play each other. So every team in this group of 32 here will each play a 3-game match against every other team in their little group. Zath and I are going to be starting in, I got to find it here, in Group 8. Our game 1 is going to be ARP's DN team, the Team Danger Noodle. I just love saying that name.
Yes.
Against Navy Gaming America's Alpha Group. We're going to bring you that game here in a few minutes. It starts at 6:15 U.S. Eastern Time. That's about 10-15 minutes here. And then our second game is going to be over in Group 6. We're going to be showing you Impact versus Adopt a Tomato. Also another team whose logo is really entertaining.
Yeah.
And then our last match of the night, we're going to be moving up to Group number 3 to showing you Rust, which is Rusty Old Frigates, versus Task Force Apocalypse, APOC. Of course, APOC is a long and storied history in these kinds of events on the North American server, and here they are once again fighting for supremacy.
Literally.
Literally, that is the name, right? There you go. If you're looking for some other games to see on other channels, I don't have. You know what I should have done, Zath? I should have gotten smart and put the quick and dirty stream schedule in here. But over on Quadralis's channel, I know he is starting with, I believe, in Group 2 with Falco and Do It.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that game in a minute because there's some interesting tidbits about that game I want to share. He is, I forget who he's casting in the second slot. I think his third game is Cute and Hate over in Group 4. That sounds correct.
Let me take a look. Yes,
yeah.
MIA and Cute.
Tell you what, why don't I just take 30 seconds here and forget it. I should have thought that far ahead, but I didn't.
Well, if you want to set that up, go right ahead. While you're doing that, though, I can just kind of talk my way through what I'm thinking here. And that's definitely round 1. I'm looking at Do It and Falco and saying that's got to be a game to watch. And one of the things that I just want to put out there, too, for those of you guys who are listening to my stream, Raptor stream, or anybody's stream, take the time now. Play around with the different streamers and see what you like in terms of camera work, in terms of communicating, seeing what's going on, that sort of thing. Find what works best for you, and that might not be us. That might be Quad, might be Kingpin. Go right ahead. So my recommendation would be to check out Do It versus Falco game 1, and then round 2. I think MIA versus NGAB would be good, and that's hosted by Kingpin. And then for round 3, this is I'm most excited about because it's our old clan-ish, APOC, when we used to do Supremacy with them, and versus Rust, who we hang out with quite a bit too.
Indeed. I think we've got a really good game 3 matchup. Honestly, I don't think that any of these matchups are bad for any of these teams. I mean, it's just a question of what you want to see. We've got a pretty good slate here. I've got the schedule up now. You can see that we're got a big cross section. All kinds of teams getting cast tonight. I know each of the teams that I know for certain our Latin American teams have at least one game that's getting streamed. So if that's your part of the world and you want to cheer those guys on, hey, go pop over and find them on stream and definitely give them a look. Now, I want to talk real briefly about Do It and Falco because I learned something last night that was of interest to me, interest to us. Zath, we've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
So last night I went to the player gathering in Austin. Of course, Wargaming America recently moved their headquarters from Emeryville, California to Austin, Texas. And that's only about 2 hours up the road from my house here. They did a player gathering last night at a really neat little arcade bar not far from their offices on the north side of Austin. And I met a lot of great people there, all from all over, but there were definitely a couple guys. There was a guy from Rust there who I had not had a chance to play with, but of course he recognized me and we chatted for a little while. But I ran into a guy from Do It, right, whose clan name is hideously long. Excuse me.
Yep.
It's the actual name of the clan, for those of you who have not seen it, is "Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?" Of course, the line from Episode 3 when Palpatine is trying to tempt Anakin Skywalker. But he shared with me last night something that I didn't know, was something you and I had been speculating about for a while. What was actually going to happen, and that is we had heard that Feminelli, Wargaming North America community contributor here, was looking for a team. She's primarily a carrier player. She was looking for a team to play King of the Sea with, and she found a team in Do It.
That's hilarious on multiple levels.
I agree, but I didn't know that until last night, and because of course it wasn't on the original roster. Rosters were still being updated this week after teams signed up, and I learned that, and I was like, well, now that's going to be interesting, just because Fem is well known in Twitch. She has a lot of Twitch followers, and is a great a great community representative as far as I'm concerned, because she's just very friendly and very awesome. You and I had the fortune of meeting her at USS Lexington last fall.
Yeah, and she gave us hugs immediately.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's just who she is, right? She's just
Right.
a very generous, very giving person. And but she has not, to my knowledge, played competitive warships of this nature. You see her play on her stream. It's a lot of random battles, and she loves CV. She knows CV mechanics. But this is, to my understanding, the first time she's going to be kind of dipping her toes into organized competitive play. Of course, because carrier is not allowed in clan battles. So this is the only place you can play carrier competitively, is in tournaments like this, like Supremacy League. And here she comes. So I'm excited just to see how she performs, and maybe pick her brain at the end of it and see what she thinks.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be pretty awesome to watch. So I had no idea that was going to happen. So that's another reason to check that game out. Wow.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, we had a good time last night. Player gathering.
So
Pigeon
jealous.
War went through a little. Yeah, I know. Pigeon War went through a little presentation. Mostly it was the same presentation that the community contributors got back in St. Petersburg last month with the World Community Contributor Summit. I did get to meet Radar X, who is the new North American community manager. And he has been working extensively with us on organizing this tournament. I have to stop for a minute and give a huge shout out to Radar, because for the first time on the North American server, community organized competitive play has been wholesale backed to the hilt by Wargaming's community people. And that's not a knock against anybody who's come before, but it is a huge prop to Radar, who has been fantastic in helping us organize this, making sure that we get the visibility that we need on the portal and everything else. It's just, we have had finally a dedicated resource at Wargaming to help us get this tournament off the ground, get organized on their end, and it's made differences like you guys would not believe on the back end of organizing things.
And I think what's so cool about it is that they're looking at this and saying, here's a player-created tournament and structure and all of this, and we don't have to do anything, but we're going to embrace it, we're going to support it, we're going to allow them to go and do what they do best. And that's just so cool.
Absolutely. And I had a great conversation with Radar last night about that and a variety of other things. He was already asking me about, when would we consider doing this again? And I think there's too many variables right there for us to say, but the fact that he's already, like, this tournament hadn't even started yet, and he's already looking down the road and saying, when can we put together another one? What will that look like? And just it's like a breath of fresh air, because I know from talking to Voss and some of the older organizers who've been around with Warship Supremacy since for more than 2 years now, that those guys have really struggled getting over that hump to get the kind of integration with Wargaming North America that they really wanted. And it seems like we're finally there, and I think it's going to make a huge difference to long-term competitive play for World of Warships, for people on the North American server that want to participate in this, especially this kind of, this is kind of outside of clan battles, right? So if you want to be a part of this, that we're going to have that backing, and I think it's awesome.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
Yep. So anyways, game should be coming up here in about 5 minutes. Let's talk about these teams real quick, Zath. I know that Team Danger Noodle was, we did see them. Actually, I don't know. Did they play in KOTS 5?
Yes, they did, because you wanted to say Danger Noodle so much.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think we did manage to pull them in for a game at somewhere along the way. I know they were in Supremacy League Season 5, the last season of Supremacy League that I worked with. They were down in the bronze. I think they were actually quite well ranked in bronze division at that point. And of course, Navy Gaming America is another group that's been around for a while. I've casted their Bravo group, but I'm not very familiar with their Alpha groups. This will be new for me.
Yeah, NGA, I've run into a lot of their players and randoms quite a bit. Good players overall, and so I'm kind of excited. The thing for people that aren't familiar with this mode is that it accentuates good play and it punishes terrible play, or even small little mistakes that you could get a bye with in randoms, just blow wide open in this.
It is amazing how little mistakes get magnified in this particular format. Now, the first two maps that we're guaranteed to see in this match are Trap and Sleeping Giant. And Sleeping Giant is brand new not only to the game, but brand new to competitive play.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really, really interested to see how teams play this map. Trap, of course, is an old friend of competitive warships, but this is Trap like we've never seen it before. This is new Trap. So
this is new and improved Trap.
New and improved Trap, right? The map has not only been changed, it's been shrunk, right? Trap is no longer a 48 by 48 map. It is a 42 by 42 map. And that center cap, there's a lot more ways in and out of it than there used to be.
Absolutely.
The island configuration up at sea has changed. It's going to be very interesting to see if any of these changes, and most importantly, if the size change impacts how teams approach this map at all. I'm really curious to see how this goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice to see some of these maps, especially after playing on clan battles and stuff, to be able to see them played in a maybe similar way or maybe completely different way.
Okay, I just had a check, Zath. The room is up. You can come join us if you want. It's very clearly labeled as NGAA and ARPDN.
Yeah, I beat you to it, sir.
Oh, you son of a... You beat me to it.
This is how you could tell we've done this together for how many times now?
I kind of hate you right now. All right. So for those of you, real briefly before we get started, map is going to be loading here very shortly, so we'll be in momentarily. For those of you, competitive warships, certainly with King of the Sea format, this is how it goes. Each map is tournament 3-cap domination, so you will not find any of the bizarre-looking kind of clan battle cap point configurations on any of these maps that we play. Each team is 9v9. That is also another change from clan battles. 2 battleships are allowed per team, 1 carrier is allowed per team, and then the remaining 6 ships can be pretty much anything you like. I have never, ever seen a team go carrierless. However, it is an option for teams that want to do that. And then after that, it's a straight-up domination game, just like you would expect. Zath and I will be joining as Tier 1 ships. We'll have to ram each other to kill ourselves because Wargaming's still working on like proper spectator mode, something else that Radar and I talked about last night. And yes, and then we'll go from there. Just mention that this was something that we desperately needed. So.
All right, so as we load in, we've got I'm on NGA side, and we've got a Hakuryu, Montana Conqueror, dual Des Moines, dual Hindenburgs, and Erie, and 2 Gearings. Interesting choices.
Yep, NGA has gone Hakuryu, Montana Conqueror. This will be interesting. We don't normally see Conqueror at this level of play.
No.
Oh, that's you.
That is me.
Your team. I'm reading your team. Okay, wow, it is totally game 1, match 1. Wow. All right, let's try this again. Team Danger Noodle, on the other hand, has gone Hakuryu double Montana, double Des Moines, Hindenburg Zhao, Gearing, and Yu Yang. Now those are interesting choices.
So it almost feels like NGA has gone for the quote-unquote safer composition with dual Des Moines, dual Hindenburgs, dual Gearings. They're able to be a little bit more flexible, perhaps?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see... Wait a minute. I can't see my team. Why can't I see my team?
RIP.
Oh, there they are. It's because I'm too far north. They won't render because we're at the wrong end of the map because, hey, spectator mode.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
There we go.
And we're off. So the reason I'm saying it's going to be interesting is, so Gearing is pretty good anti-air, right? And of course, Hakuryus most likely are going to be, what, 4-2-2, the air superiority layout? So
More than likely, I would think.
Yeah, so Gearings are good because they've got defensive anti-air, assuming they took that consumable. Hindenburg's obviously very strong anti-air as well. Des Moines, enough said. Conquer and Montana both have good AA as well. So this team is definitely packing as much anti-air as possible.
Indeed. I'm really curious to see how Team Danger Noodle here is going to employ this Yu Yang and this Zhao. Those are kind of bold choices that we don't normally see. We haven't historically seen in this format of play. Now, of course, if you played clan battles in the last season, you probably saw Zhao. Quite a number of Zhaos work their way into quite a number of clan battle routines. But we did not see a lot of them in previous seasons of King of the Sea or Supremacy League.
Correct. Now,
Nexus is gearing here, working B very early. No one's seeming to really get shots on him. They're trying to get vision, but I think he's going to pick up B just on the back of being very bold. Nope.
Did you notice how the NGA carrier just totally suicided bombers in to get that gearing spotted?
He did, and he threw them away just to see how the team was deploying. Now, Yuki Nexus, of course, is in B. There was a gearing spotted in that gap just north of him. Which gearing was that, Zath?
That's Mr. Hangtime's FL, and he's still there. He just dropped some torpedoes in. Now remember, guys, we are 5-minute stream delay, so what you see here happened 5 minutes ago.
Yep. Sorry, I had not mentioned that. We are on a 5-minute delay this season. We were running 10 for a while, but we all talked about it and just felt like 10 was kind of silly.
Uh-oh, Cadmus coming under some fire here in the Des Moines.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, for those of you guys watching, if you're new to this, it might look like the planes are like puppets that are tangled up in strings, and that's for a reason, because both carriers kind of jockey for positioning and maneuvering, and as you can see here in C, there's a little bit of action going on, as unfortunately the NGA carrier just lost his torpedo squadron. But a lot of times you get this kind of angry standoff between fighters, and they just kind of sit there. Yeah, we just saw another big strafe.
That good fighter micro from Kitsunex. He strafed one fighter out while bringing the other fighter in to strafe the squadron that got left behind when he broke out. That was well done.
That's a standard ploy by good carriers.
So we see here now that NGA has gone heavy BC, capping C, and that the forces that Team Danger Noodles sent all the way down to A are basically now trying to rotate and get back into B. The big rumble will probably be at B, certainly is shaping up that way. As the Zhao and the Montana on the 9 line look like they're going to be playing a delaying action to hold people back from just running right through C.
Yep, and there's a lot of pinging going on now on the mini-map here as the team realizes they got to do something. There's going to be people coming around A cap. We got to get ready, but at the same time, we have to get into B and deal with B cap. So, you know, NGA is at a severe disadvantage here because if you look at the score, they're losing. And if they do nothing, if nobody dies in the next 15 minutes, they've lost.
Indeed. Yuki Nexus now dumping torpedoes straight up the gullet of that gap north of B. It's going to be really interesting to see if those are spotted because the fighter that might have spotted them is moving off towards C.
Yeah, good choice on the torpedoes as the Des Moines took some blind fire in the smoke. And we see, what was that? Des Moines looked like it was firing randomly into the smoke as well. Here come the torps.
Yep, torpedoes coming in now into this gap.
But Schnork did a good job of getting in position to back away. I think he's going to miss all of them. Yep.
No dice on the torp salvo. Looked pretty good out of the tubes, but no dice.
You see that a lot too in these games, just kind of chasing torpedoes. Ooh, what's going to happen next? Because it's just, you have no idea.
5 minutes gone now as Team Danger Noodle working about a 70-point lead here on the strength of their early cap of B. A very bold push by Yuki Nexus, putting them up a little early here. It looks like he must be radared or spotted somehow. He's taking some fire there at B.
He was spotted for just a second. I think the Des Moines is trying to radar him, but he's just on the outside of his range.
Well, both Des Moines are set up there to be able to radar him, and I'm confident those guys are probably packing the right radar mods. They could probably keep him lit for a very long time.
Yeah, but we just see, I think that was the Montana, had a pretty decent hit on Cadmus, as he's going to be forced to turn into B and commit. And the other Montana comes in too. Oh boy.
Cadmus under quite a bit of fire here as he kind of makes the charge. Doesn't look like he has much choice.
Yeah, this is the
No, he's turning out again.
not good. Well, but he's certainly
Valid
good.
Antilles, but he's definitely caught in a good, and right now in a solid crossfire between both Montanas. If he's not careful, he
Plus
is
the
pushing into
Hindenburg.
the cap. Yuki Nexus deciding that Valor's the discretion is the better part of Valor. He bails out of B. That'll slowly start to turn that in NGA's favor.
Yeah, just like in ranked, it's never worth it to die for a cap. So if your health is in danger, pull back and let the team come in and help.
You got it. Cap is not nearly worth the points. It looks like Cadmus might dodge these torps.
Oh,
Yep,
yes,
he's
he's
going to
got
pull
him.
it up. Wow, he found the hole. Goodness gracious! What a great dodge.
Yeah, and he totally planned to do that.
We must have had sonar on. Still taking some damage from both Montanas.
Yeah, his days are numbered. Des Moines coming in now on the side as well.
You know, it's going to be enough for them to cap B, that's for sure. But I don't think he's going to live. It's going to cost him his ship, I think, in the long run.
Yeah.
Not sure this is a great choice unless Hang Times can get over there and smoke him, or Gord. Oh, here comes Gecko from the north. Yeah, Gecko's going to smoke him. He's reversing already. Cadmus is going to back up into smoke that's about to come up. Here comes the Salin from Valen. Will this matter? Nope, Valen doesn't get much. Cadmus will live.
And the fact that B is not fully capped means that there's probably a destroyer in there. I'm guessing it's the Yu Yang, but the fighter's not detecting anybody.
No, Yuki Nexus's gearing snuck back in. Why is Abyssal Dragon showing these guys such a great profile? Abyssal, this is not going to work out for you, buddy.
Everything for the kill, man.
Well, he moved up, I think, to get the radar on Cadmus. Cadmus is still being focused in there he goes, but a trade-off, man. Abyssal threw away his ship to do that. I'm not sure I like that play.
No,
he got a lot of NGA firepower coming into B now.
Yeah, he got a little too excited. I would real quickly comment. I think that that Des Moines that just died on NGA should have maybe hugged the island better, getting into B cap. He would have survived. Yeah,
possibly a bit of a mistake there. Both ARP destroyers now working the south end of B, neither in the cap, but definitely present, slinging torpedoes, as there is a Hindenburg in the cap, and we know the Des Moines is the surviving Des Moines is somewhere on the 5 line on the north end of the cap.
Yeah, I don't like this Hindenburg's placement. He's just going to get wrecked now by the Montana. Des Moines shooting him. Hindenburg out there shooting him.
He's angled to head out, but that Montana still has good shots. Here comes more smoke, trying to cover his escape.
Yeah,
he's taken a lot of damage that he didn't need. He didn't need to be in that cap.
Yeah, that's all free damage.
Down to 6K now, 3,700 hit points and falling. More shells continuing to come in. Is it going to cost him his ship? Great shot on Shank's Des Moines there, if anybody can get it. Hutch still burning. More shells. There he goes. An unnecessary ship loss for NGA definitely puts ARP up here. They move their lead out to about 130 points as we approach the halfway mark of the match.
And the thing is that Yu Yang versus Gearing. Gearing can win just simply because the torpedoes will actually hit, although it rides a little higher on the waterline.
Now, one thing that's interesting to note, so much of NGA's force has pulled into B that these guys over here on the 8-9 line, the Montana, the Hindenburg, and the Zhao, are able to really pressure C and catch those guys in B in a bit of crossfire.
Yep, and I'm not sure what this Hell Siege is looking to do other than to sit there and be annoying.
Well, Blaze Gunny's Montana looks like he'll be the next casualty. 10,000 HP and falling, clearly getting focused fire by this northern group as they roll up the side of the map. A couple more salvos, and that should be another 100 points up for, there he goes, ARP, as they move out to a 230-point lead with half the match gone.
Yeah, and
but Blaze Gunny goes out in a blaze. He bags Aster Zhao with a big salvo on the way out the door.
Pretty awesome.
But, yeah, I mean a trade, but a bad trade.
Oh, that looked painful.
Yep, another big salvo from battleships there, wiping cruisers off the board. Both Des Moines now for NGA disappearing in puffs of smoke. 2 ships and 230-point lead now for ARP's Danger Noodle as they continue to pressure C with a Hindenburg and a Montana. And both gearings, the gearing of the Yu Yang work the bottom end of the B cap. NGA is not gaining points right now. That's notable. Well, I apologize. They are. They're not getting points out of B. In a moment, they won't be getting points at all as soon as one of these guys gets into C.
Yeah, and Hell Siege is basically being pushed out now. He's by himself. Here come the torpedo bombers even. They're smelling blood over there at CCAP.
Striker now calling for focus fire on Gordon Gecko and B. Got great shots on him. Salvo out. Not sure how those are going to land. They lost sight of him right as he pulled the trigger. Torpedo strike comes in on Striker.
About 5k. So he's down to 10k health now.
Not bad. Both
chunk.
NGA Gearings forced to pull out of B. One torpedo, 2 torpedoes into Striker there, just south of C, as both Gearings now retreating north.
Hang
looking
time's
to try
about to
and
get...
I think, yeah.
Look at hang time. He's gonna take 3, 4. He gone.
And there he goes. Oh, big strike.
Yeah, that was turning the wrong way to dodge. He should have turned in instead of out.
Sakura, you continue to do good work there between spotting, strafing, and wiping out an enemy destroyer.
Another big chunk on the gearing from the Montana. Gearing now to 5,000 hit points.
Everything coming up. Danger Noodle in this particular game so far. Cruiser Montpellier kind of working this cover. Probably going to come around C here. What is he going to do? Is he going to turn into the cap? Or,
nice torpedoes.
Not sure. Yep, Gecko gets revenge on Striker, bagging him with torpedoes out of the smoke. I feel like Striker was probably a little too aggressive there. Once he realized those destroyers were over there, now, by the time he saw them, he was probably too late.
Yeah, you know, it's a classic thing that we see when the team thinks that they've won, and then they start going in trying to get the damage, trying to get the last word in, so to speak, and in the battle, and that was an unnecessary push.
Montpellier now very alone here on the 10 line. The only team member only a member of his team over there. Looks like he's going to just pull back and kind of hold the range open as best he can. But his team has a solid lead now, well over 200 points and 2 ships with about 7 minutes to play.
Yep, and Epic Leveler is trying to get into this with his Conqueror. We saw him kind of behind BCAP for a long time, and now he's kind of got nobody to shoot at except for Montpellier.
I'm not going to lie, Zath. I didn't like his position behind the BCAP. It didn't look like he had effective shots on almost anybody back there.
Nope.
He's got a pretty good deep water torpedo salvo coming right at him here. He's turning. He's going to eat at least 2 or 3 of these, I think. They're probably about to be detected.
Let's watch. Oh, there they are. He's going to take 1.
Just one. But Conqueror's TDS is terrible. He has to repair that. And he's about to get cross-torped. More gearing torps coming in now, dead ahead of him, probably spotted by those fighters.
Yep. Come on, where's the new ship button? Let's go. There we go.
You know, one of the things we didn't talk about, Zath, we'll talk about between games, is the most recent patch made a big change with planes spotting torpedoes.
Yes.
He does take 1, though.
And that's it for him.
Torpedo gets through. He's going to be out here in
Fire
second.
and flood. Gone.
Fire, flooding, 1,500 HP and falling. Damn.
GGWP as well.
Yep, that's going to be all she wrote here, kids, on Trap, with Team Danger Noodle claiming Game 1 of this best-of-3 match. All over but the crying here now, as Kitsune bringing more torpedoes in. Doesn't matter, Talon until he beats him to it. But the Conqueror burns him down. Wow. Conqueror does bag a kill with those goofy fire guns. Hellsiege now storming back into B, trying to prolong the pain here, I think. I'm not sure what he's up to. I guess going to make him earn it.
I mean, at this point, if I'm Hellsiege, I'm looking at this as an opportunity to practice close-in fighting.
Yep. Well, the problem is the Des Moines is a huge threat, especially at that angle. He needs to turn into the Des Moines. He's about to just eat AP out for days.
Yep.
Look at that salvo.
He's too busy trying to set up his torpedo.
He's got deep water torps coming in on the bow.
Lol, yeah. Goodbye.
Bam. Game over. A solid, convincing win for Team Danger Noodle here on Trap in Game 1 of this particular match in the group stage.
Yep. Look at that Hakuryu. He could have been a solo warrior. But again, take a look now. With carrier plane shot down, Des Moines on ARP. Danger Noodle taking the top spot for plane kills. And look at NGA and how few planes they shot down other than the Hakuryu.
I think that probably speaks more to the control that we were seeing out of Kitsune's carrier play than anything, right? I mean, obviously he had planes up. The Silverthorns Hakuryu bagging plenty of plane kills. It just his planes were not being put into positions where the surface vessels got a lot of shots at them, I think.
Yeah, it definitely felt like Danger Noodle held the game. They controlled the map. They controlled what was going on. NGA was trying to react. They couldn't get their plan into it. And the biggest thing that I saw, there were a number of times where you said something was happening, and you're calling my team ships. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you know all this? And it's because of the power of vision, which your team had and NGA did not.
Now, Sleeping Giant is going to be an interesting match. We have seen a lot of this map in clan battles, for example, but never in a 9v9 and never in this tournament.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So let's assume for a minute, Zath, that let's say you're one of these team callers. You just take those lineups you just saw and talk me through how you would approach Sleeping Giant with the double destroyer setup we just saw.
Through Sleeping Giant?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
You've only got 2 destroyers. Talk me through how you approach. Like if you're calling that map with the 2 destroyer setup we just saw, tell me how you approach it.
Well, Sleeping Giant's an interesting one, and the reason why is because you've got that high risk, high reward decision if you're going to go to ACAP or not, right? So that's what you're trying to figure out. Is where do you want to go, and that's going to be that's really tough. We've seen teams, we've done it ourselves in clan battles, struggle with getting up there and having a big impact on the there's the maps, having a difficult time causing a change. Because if you look at Sleeping Giant on the west side, you've got this area that's pretty much like if you could put a Z52 in there with Hydro, you can just lock it down. It's yours. You own the place. But at the same time, if you put 2 mini ships in there, then they're trapped.
It's true that ACAP on Sleeping Giant is very risky, let's say. And it's interesting you mentioned Z52 because we've seen teams bring Z52 to similar caps. Do you remember last tournament we watched who was it that brought that Z that 07 just crushed in that middle cap? It wasn't PSV, it was someone else.
I don't recall myself, but
you remember the game, right? They shoved a Z52 in the middle of Warrior's Path, the B cap on Warrior's Path, and he just sat there until they basically just Pulley-Cap ran up and flanked him. You remember that?
Yep.
And blew him away.
Yep. So I mean, the big thing in Sleeping Giant is, do you send a destroyer through the middle into ACAP with speed boost? That's incredibly high risk, high reward. If you can get to ACAP,
very high risk,
and you can take ACAP, then you've got a big bonus. In the center of the map is BCAP. That one, I highly doubt we're going to see a lot of fighting over for quite some time. And then far on the eastern side, we've got CCAP kind of surrounded by those 4 similar-sized islands there. So what I would expect to see, if I'm calling it, I'm thinking for my team, NGA, I think NGA is going to send the bulk of their forces to CCAP. I don't think, based on the last game I saw, that they're going to be willing to push hard into ACAP. So they might just kind of do a full push to CCAP with maybe 1 or 2 trying to do something in the middle.
The other thing I'm curious to see is if both teams stick with the double destroyer or if somebody brings a 3rd destroyer specifically to try and bag that ACAP. I'm curious to see. With double destroyer, personally, my opinion, double destroyer, I don't think you can risk it. I just don't think you can. There's too much risk involved to risk one of your 2 destroyers. But if you've got 3, I think maybe it's worthwhile.
Absolutely. By the way, I don't know if you've seen in the training battle chat, but somebody wants you to shout out his name, and I'll just allow you to do that if you want.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Hang on. I'm not even looking. I'm busy talking to you.
I know, right? There's so much going on and all that to keep track of. But you're absolutely right. I think in this map, It's so hard. You see it?
Why does drop a third one want me to say his name? I don't understand.
Because he's a big fan of yours. See, it says, "Can you say my name on stream?" He's a big fan.
Oh, all right. What's up, third one? Good to see you, buddy. Hope you guys are having a good time. I can't cheer for one team or the other, but I hope you guys are at least enjoying playing.
On my stream, there's some talk about the torpedo mechanics. We were talking about that a second ago. We wanted to highlight that. The big change in the patch is that now planes, they have a much reduced ability to spot torpedoes from the air. It's now 50% less, which basically means it's 50% harder to spot torpedoes. There was that part where you said that there was a fighter in B-Cap that could have spotted those torpedoes and didn't. I think under the old mechanics, last patch, they would have been spotted, or at least some of them. But because we're on the new patch, they were not spotted, which actually caused a big difference in the way the game played out.
Yeah, it's one of those little things. I say little things. It's not a small change. If you play destroyers, that is not a small change. No. But it's interesting. It's going to be an interesting change to see how that ripple affects through the tournament, right? Because generally, the two big things that carrier players are like hyper focused on in these matches is spotting ships and spotting torpedoes. I mean, it's very common for us to see carrier players station, empty bombers or fighters that aren't busy, shooting down other planes in areas where they suspect torpedoes may be coming from to help screen their team from torpedoes. But now that's a much tougher job, just because the torpedoes are even regular torpedoes. We're not even talking about deep water torpedoes, right? Plain old Joe Blow torpedoes that have been in the game for years now are just harder to spot. And I think that may have a bigger repercussion on the power level of carriers in some of these events than people maybe were thinking about. And it was kind of a late change, right? Of course, it only happened this week, but as if I recall right, that change wasn't even announced on the dev blog until a few weeks ago when they started heading towards public testing.
Yep, and the interesting thing is going to be what happens with the Shimakaze, because Shimakaze torps are famously spotted from orbit, and now you have to get a little closer than orbit to spot them.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't say never. I don't feel like we've ever really seen anybody take Shimakaze in one of these games. Have you?
No, but I think that we're going to see that happening. Real quick shout out to Valen Antilles. Hi, and hi to my mom in San Antonio, Texas for Cruiser Montpelier.